share some thoughts with us right now.
Cool. All right, well, first off, one big issue that's concerning our youth that David mentioned earlier is mental health. There's certainly, what I've noticed is a lack of support. We have counselors at school, but I've noticed through my experience, I know, and who I've met, and just people in my circle, there's definitely a lack of support and just hard to get whether it's an actual condition or not, there's just a lack of support for issues that affect people every single day, especially coming out of COVID and the lockdown. It definitely had a big toll, especially, as in my age group, we were transitioning into high school, suddenly just stuck in our rooms, starting off kind of the biggest part of our childhood through a computer. Anyways, besides mental health, one thing that definitely I feel like should be talked about more and addressed is physical health. It kind of goes back to COVID and how it kind of changed everybody's life, but being locked away inside, people, being so isolated, kind of had a lack of getting outside. Luckily, me and my closest friends, were surfers, and it was kind of the best time ever to be a surfer. Getting out every day, and that's one thing that never really went away, except for like a week. So also, just kind of that comes along with being a surfer, and as Santa Cruz kind of circulates right around surfing, there's kind of, we know about the issues that's happened at West Cliff with all the erosion, and unfortunately, in addition to the erosion, like we saw a video on the Surfline camera of the cliff collapsing at Steamer Lane, when there were people right out there. I know a guy who caught a wave right where the cliff collapsed, and he's lucky he wasn't there when it happened. But I think we need to teach a lot more about ocean safety, especially through the youth, because we're the most active and we're the ones who are getting in the ocean the most. But we've also had a number of incidents in the last couple months. There was a drowning at its beach. I witnessed one of my not a close friend, but a peer of mine who I've met. I witnessed him had to get rescued out of its beach at pretty late at night. And there's just definitely a lack of knowledge around the ocean. And like I said, especially since Santa Cruz kind of revolves around that, it's definitely something that I believe should be more highlighted. I know the ocean is something weird to address in school, so I'm not sure exactly how that would happen. Let's see, I had a couple of notes. Also concerning parking at the high school. This is something that doesn't affect the whole city, but parking at the high school. People get tickets quite a few times a week. It's an issue. Schools like Scotts Valley High School have 3-level parking lot. We have a one-way with about 20 spaces out of our school with about I think 1,500 kids. And it's something that causes a lot of stress, and that's just an issue that concerns us as high schoolers. And also having to do with school, which also ties back to COVID again. It's crazy how much it's affected our lives, is the load of schoolwork and the school system. I've noticed as we've gotten older, there's such a lack of motivation, not like it's the kids' fault, but just the way that our school and that whole education system is organized. There's lesson after lesson, and people are just so overwhelmed. I've noticed that homework has kind of become something where you just try and get it over with, or just copy down instead of actually learning something. And I feel like we need better support in terms of tutoring. We have peer tutoring at Santa Cruz High, but we certainly need better access, definitely, to academic support, not just through the actual academic part, but like I said, the motivation of it and actually learning something, not just with mathematics or science or something like that, but also we need to teach real life skills. Like they were mentioning about housing, etc. People with families who are less fortunate, especially in Santa Cruz with how expensive it is. I know a number of kids who have had to support their families through their own job, and there's just, you know, being kids, and, you know, they say your frontal cortex isn't developed till you're 25. You really don't have the skills to properly manage money. So additionally, support just with how to handle this, you know, how expensive everything is, and just knowing how to get a job too. A lot of people don't even, you know, really know how to get one. So those are kind of the big issues I've noticed.
Thank you, Jonah. Great. And now we're going to hear from Chris Monroe, Superintendent.